I am Muhammad Asif Nadeem, lecturer, Department of English, University of Southern Punjab. Today, I'll be teaching over you here a course under the title of Creative Nonfiction. You are being familiar with multiple times about fiction, nonfiction and creativity, but we will discuss it in detail that what it is and how to write it. For example, how? What is creative nonfiction? If we say that despite its slightly enigmatic name, no literary genre has grown quite as quickly as the creative nonfiction in recent decades. First there was the dominance was particularly of drama, poetry, fiction, to which we call it as novel as well, you may call it. But nowadays, which literary genre is going to cover up the market is the creative nonfiction. We can also say it the literary nonfiction. It is also known as the literary journalism as well. So, it is a new, well established as a powerful means of storytelling. Every day is a story. So, this is a new technique of telling that story. Even in the bookstores now resolve a large amounts of space for the nonfiction when it is used to occupy a single bookshelf. There are multiple books over there that is being written on this genre, as the creative nonfiction has a long history, also like other genres. For example, it creates and it imitates and it begins with the early moments, and that is the interested writing in the true to life stories. When we say true to life stories, there is the differentiation between the fiction and non-fiction. So, non-fiction demands you the true life stories. Not sure where to begin. Let's start by dissecting the creative non-fiction genres, what it meant to write a modern literary essay. What, when we say how, means what creative nonfiction actually is. It employs, it controls the creative writing techniques of the literature, such as poetry, even the fiction, to retell a true story, When we say a true story, it is the real story that happened in front of you. How do we define creative nonfiction? There are multiple things, but still, what makes it creative? It is an opposed to just factual writing, the real writing. These are the great questions to ask when entering into any genre. When they require answers, essays themselves in the short creative nonfiction as a kind of storytelling that employs the creative writing techniques of literature such as poetry, fiction. To tell a story, nonfiction writers don't use the spare pithy anecdotes, means the figurative language over there. They use the crafty hand technique to situate the reader into their own personal lives. We are being focused on the family, the personal. So, according to the family personal domain, this non-fictional is a part of it. Fictional elements such as character development, narrative arcs are employed to create a cohesive story. Cohesive means having a connectivity with that. But so are the poetic elements like the conceit, like the theme, like the juxtaposition, like the apostrophe. So, overall, the CNF is an abbreviation to this creative non-fiction genre is vividly experimental. Nowadays, we are utilizing at every moment, at every incident, pushing the bounds of literature by finding the new ways to tell their stories. It is a new technique to tell the real stories with different narratives. You have been told that you are telling a story. It includes the gaze on history, politics. They might create writing elements to write an expository essay, as it is the allied courses as well. So there are few limits to discuss, means what creative nonfiction can be and which is what makes defining the genre so difficult, so complex. There is a need of addressing a little bit difficulty in writing it so, but it makes it exciting. How? The different forms of creative nonfiction. For example, starting with straight away alphabetically from the autobiographies, as you are always being familiar with Mark Twain, another the key poet of an American literature and benevolence, leaning to the more experimental styles of the modern writers like Karl Ove, Knackstedt. Creative nonfiction is a long history and takes a wide variety of forms, writers, works, countries, nations, identities. Common literature as the creative nonfiction genre include the following, and there you are going to stay. I will give you the example over here. So this MEMOIR, actually everyone will be pronouncing it like memoir or memoir or memoir. Actually the real pronunciation behind MEMOIR is memoir. Are you being strange? Is it being strange to you? Yes, you will be a little shocked that what is going on. There is no similarity in the spelling and the pronunciation. The simple these words, this is memva, MEMVA. The stress over there is in mem and va. Okay, next. To memva, also known as the biography or a kind of autobiography. The memva is probably the most inspiring forms of the creative nonfiction. Memoirs are collections of your memories. That memories can be sadistic, that can be happy, either surrounded by a single narrative thread of multiple interrelated ideas. Now ideas belongs to you, what sort of memory you are having. The memoir is usually published in form of a book like the novel and a piece of fiction, and many memoirs take years and years to write and make it perfect. Memoirs often take a similar writing style as the personal essay does. When we are talking about the personal essay, one must be familiar with the father of personal essay, and that is the Francis Bacon. From the 17th century, encourage the reader through the entire book. Personal essay are the stories about the personal experiences told by literary techniques. For example, we will be discussing over here the key writers. When someone hears the word essay, it comes instinctively. Think about those 5-paragraph book essay which you were. For example, I will tell you over here. This essay is not like the traditional one, as we have been in intermediate at the graduate level. Even it is not based like the experimental essays. For example, compare and contrast, the descriptive ones, the argumentative ones, the compare and contrast ones, the persuasive ones. No. This is actually the complete life story about the success, about the failures of any one literary figure, notable feature. For example, the popular, for example, the celebrity, for example, a person who was a great politician. Now, please, moving forward, it is not like that a traditional 5-paragraph everyone wrote in high school or creative nonfiction is actually personal essays. It makes you more vibrant and dynamic. Personal essays are like stories, personal experiences. You may share personal essays, for example, what you are doing, what you were being afraid of where you like that stories to be a single event. Many essays braid true stories with extended metaphors. For example, one can say that that woman was as soft as an tissue. Now this is a metaphor. Or a mother saying to the child that my son is actually the moon. This is a metaphor, exaggerated metaphor. Consider the opening two paragraphs by the Anne Finley's personal essay. I was survived in the blizzard of 79. I want to give you example over here. When the writer is saying that with the beginning lines of 79, so this does not mean the age, this does not mean the lucky number. This was actually the address of that an assist. Now see the significance of the autobiographical element, that 79 is not a lucky number, is not an age, it was not that year, but it was the personal address of that assist. And in memories, the writer has discussed with full grace, with full zeal and zest. So this shows that when it comes to your origin, you focuses with your not fright, with happiness. So this happiness will tell you that this is a true story, and true story can be categorized to memoir or the personal essay writing. Then it may lead to the creative non-fiction. Means it is based on reality, not on imitation, not on copying. Moving forward, as means occurred to us as it wouldn't have helped. I was 8, Julie was 10. When didn't they know that this blizzard would earn itself a moniker that would be skill screened on t-shirts, that what that labels want to be. What would on such a shirt which extended its tenure in our house as a rag of polishing silver. The word essay comes again and again, and the beginning starts from the French. The word essayer, which means to try, to attempt, and this attempt means the personal essay is more than just an autobiographical narrative. Here you will be discussing you, here you will be mentioning you, here you will be listing all the details that have been inclined with your life, with your childhood, with your memories. And the second one over here is the lyrical essay, or even you may know it as the lyric essay. The lyric essay contains a similar subject matter as the personal essays, but is much more experimental in that form, in an exaggeration of that. The lyric essay contains a similar subject, but the matter of the personal essay on behalf of one key, means there is a one different distinction and feature. Lyrical essay are much more experimental in form. Poetry and creative non-fiction merge in the lyrical essay. For example, you can use over there the golden days or the moments. The lyrical essay stands out for its unique writing style and the sentence structures. Consider these lines by line life quote as said by Jonathan Alexander Knight. The dream goes like this: blue room of water, good light from above, child's first foot, curve, face, the arc of an eye, the symmetry of circles, and then an opening of this body, which surprised her a moment, so clean and assured that pushed towards the light like a frog, like a fish. What we get is language driven by emotions, feelings choosing an internal logic rather than a universal accepted one. Lyrical essay analysis are the amazing passages to break the barriers in language. For example, the lyricist might write a few paragraphs about their story, then examine what was the key feature of that emotion, of that intensity, of that life in the form of an alveolar act ghazal that might decide to write their entire essay in a string of couplets. It can be the sonnets, it can be the doublets, it can be the sizzlers, it can be in the stanzas, it can be in the poetic form. Interrupt those stanzas with those moments of insight or analysis in the lyric essay language dictates form. Now I will give you example over here. When it is the dictates, it is the language dictate, means the moral lesson over here, as it is the moral of the story. There is behind every poetry. It is the dictation, and that dictation is known as didactics. Didactics means the moral and social lesson message conveyed by the author, by the literary figure. So, I want to wind up over here. Thanks, stay blessed, God bless you.